In this segment, Stacie Capone and Don Downie talk about LA versus New York and why they moved out there and how they did it successfully. And Stacie also speaks about the FilmmakeHers, which is a wonderful group of people, a wonderful organization. So let's take a listen. I know you both as East Coast people, but you've recently, in the last few years, I don't remember how many years ago because pandemic, I don't know what day it is, but you moved to LA. And I was wondering about what that adjustment was like. I know you still work in New York, but just talk about that, like making that move. What's that like? What are the pros and cons? Because I know a lot of people out there think about it. And is it just like a magic bullet, or did you build up business relations in LA before you went? Because you hear these stories of some people going and it's a disaster and others it's great. And I think it's good to break down why.
3, 2, 1. What's the best thing about LA? 3, 2, 1.
The weather. Okay, but seriously, the citrus. No, okay. First, Don was going to move to LA when he met me. And then he met me. And so he didn't move to LA. So he ended up staying in New York for many more years than he thought he was going to. But
regrets.
Yeah. No, we had thought on multiple occasions that we were going to move to LA. And we came out to LA and we're like, yeah, we're totally going to move here. Let's go out to LA and we'll check it out. And we got out here and we were like, oh God, no, like, ew, I'm not moving to LA. The energy there. Ugh. And so we moved back. So we were like, okay, come back to New York. We're not moving. And then a few years later, I run a women in film group. On the East Coast, I was running a women in film group, and people had moved to the West Coast, and they were like, please come out and hold a meeting out here. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So we went out in 2017 with like no expectation of wanting to move to LA. Like, it was just like, hey, we're going to have a little vacation. And we got out here and we started talking to people. We started to explore, and we were like, wait, why don't we live in LA? I think that we would be successful in LA. Why are we still in New York? Winter sucks. So then in 2018, we started to make moves. We were like, let's try to be bi-coastal. Let's go out to LA for a month. Let's see. And our landlords at the time had told us that they were going to sell the building. And we'd been paying the same rent for 12 years. And we came out to LA and we were like, you can get like so much more space and laundry and a parking spot. So let's try this. And I think the reason why we were successful and why we stayed in LA was because we had been planting seeds the entire time we were building a business, building an art business. We had made so many connections to people that had moved out into LA. Like, we did the thing where we came out and I held a women in film meeting. Like, I think it's the planting of the seeds beforehand. But then you have to continuously sow. You have to have coffee with people. You have to go out with people. It's all about relationships. You have to continue to build those relationships. And because we had done that, I think we were successful. I don't think that if Don had moved out here 10 years before, or if we had moved out here the first time we thought about it, I don't think that we would have been as successful.
Before we go to Don, I do want to just take a step back because you mentioned that you run a film group, and I know it's called the FilmmakeHers because I'm in it. Oh, so that's the Bronx in me. So okay, so I'm in the FilmmakeHers, and it's a great group. And I was just wondering if you could talk about the benefits of that, because that is a free group. I just want to put out there for people. I mean, I think you pay $5 to be listed on the website or something like that. Like, it's basically free. Like, that's up to you if you want to do that. I'm mentioning that to people so we know we're not selling them anything here. It's a free group. There are rules about getting in. It's not everybody getting in. So could you just talk about, though, not about how you get in. They can reach out to you if they want that, but more about what that group does for each. I mean, I can talk about it, but I'd rather hear it from you, the purpose of the group, why you did it, the connections that you've made, all those things that you're talking about.
Yeah. So in 2014, I had gone to a talk about filmmaking, and I was with some other filmmakers, and I used to run, well, Don and I actually both, we used to run an actors community called Proactive, or Professional Actors Collective, where we would meet weekly and we would do scene study and we would talk business. And, you know, fast forward so many years, we hadn't done that. Like, that's how we learned to make films. I was like missing this community of amazing artists that you could connect with like regularly. So me and a couple of other shorts filmmakers got together and we had a meeting. And so it was nice to connect with other women in the industry that we didn't all necessarily do the same thing. So it was a melange of people. I don't know, it was like writers, directors, actors, producers. So it was like a bunch of people in a room together that could also then go and make a film if we wanted to.
An eclectic and diverse group of multidisciplinary film artists.
Yeah, that. So the group has like evolved from 10 women in my living room to a bi-coastal network. There's probably like 200, there's about like 500 members between New York, LA, and then the pandemic has made people live in, you know, Toronto and Kansas and Arizona. Like it's great. And the group is about education and collaboration, and we bring in guest speakers, and people really, really do work together. I think that the group is small enough that people really do get to know each other. So people really do build relationships with one another, and then go on to have like amazing success stories. Like a writer from New York met producers in LA, and her feature film is now available for pre-order on Amazon and Apple and all those things. So it's just a community of like-minded women who spearhead projects and want to work together and share knowledge.
What's this group called, Stacie Capone?
The FilmmakeHers.
Oh.
The FilmmakeHers with an H.
So Don, hopping back to you, what has your experience been moving to New York, to LA, and about, you know, having contacts in LA and all the stuff Stacie was talking about?
Moving to LA has been, I think, one of the best things that I've ever done for my career. It's been successful. I still have a lot to go, but it's been successful beyond what I expect it to be. I love New York. I loved living in New York. I still think of New York as home. I am very excited every time I get a chance to get back to New York, and I think that one can make the most amazing community and group of friends in New York. I imagine that I have I know that I have relationships and friendships there that I will have for the rest of my life. Business-wise, I always felt like I was running in a very small circle in New York, and I always felt that I was dying to have my shot and get into the room, and those opportunities would come once every 3 or 4 years. And part of, Stacie mentioned that we came out here on a scout visit, or not even on a scout visit, on a visit in 2017. And the thing that really sunk in on that visit was the people who were our peers out here were doing the things that we want to do. We're pitching shows, we're having meetings, we're working on creating the kind of stuff that we someday wanted to create, and that's what they were working on today. And it's an industry town. This is just the marketplace for that creative content, for those creative ideas, and there's a business machine built around buying and selling and getting those things made here. And I'm very, very happy to have joined the filmmaking community in Los Angeles and be part of that. If you're thinking of making the move from New York to LA, I think you really, really have to think hard about community. a lot of people move out here with an idea of themselves of what they're going to be, and then they come out and they curl into a very small ball, and they just either on the good side they maybe really get into like surfing and tacos, and on the bad side they just get really, really, really lonely. It's not as easy of a place to build community as New York is, and it can be a very isolating place, and it can be a very frustrating place because you think that you're going to get here and you're going to get discovered or something, and it's not that. It's about building a network out here and really activating it. And for a New Yorker, it's this weird thing about coming out here, and in New York, it's like, yeah, I have this like really big idea, it's cool, and you're waiting for someone to ask you about it, and that's the approach. And in LA, it's like, I have this idea, it's really great, it's a 4-quadrant idea, and let me pitch you. Can I pitch you? And it's very, you have to be a little bit louder and a little bit more specific with what you're asking, and a little more upfront about things. But it's good. It's eye-opening, and this is the place where you come to make things where the goal is to make a film or a series or a project and get it out beyond your immediate network of people that you already know to a mainstream audience, to an audience of people that you don't know. And I think that one of the things as indie filmmakers that gets lost sometimes is the goal of actually having an impact on the world by making something and touching a wide group of people with that thing. And I think that this is the place where you come. Maybe not forever. Maybe not. This certainly isn't. I'm not saying this is the only place that you can work, but I think that this is a really eye-opening place to come and understand how stuff gets made, and to be a part of the community that's making stuff on a big scale.
I feel like New York is a little more art focused, art forward, and LA is like business forward. And it's nice to have a mix of the two.
The other thing that I would definitely hit on about the New York LA thing is because we also run our company and we also sell our services to people and make our living that way, that business got much, much bigger once we moved to LA. Our client base tends to be media and tech companies, and California is the place where all of the biggest media and tech companies are the most active. And a unexpected and delightful side benefit of coming here was that we significantly grew our business. And I think one of mine and Stacie's dreams the whole time we've been together is to be homeowners, and that wasn't something that was possible for us in New York. And now we're in our under construction house in Pasadena, California. And
let's see those kitchen tiles.
Oh my God! Let me show you our kitchen tiles. I spent an awful lot of time lately working on our construction project.
The good thing about being an artist and an actor and having odd jobs is sometimes you work for an architect's office, and then you could draw your own home plans.
Yes.
And electrical drawings and design your floor.
Nice.
You can learn more about Stacie and Don by clicking the links below this video.